Chosen one, your final test begins today. God has confirmed. That stirring in your chest, that quickening of your pulse, it's not coincidence. It's heaven's alarm clock ringing through your soul, waking you to a moment that will define your destiny. You didn't stumble upon this message. This message found you, hunted you down across the chaos of the world, because today, right now, God is drawing a line in the sand. On one side, the familiar wilderness of doubt, delay, and unfulfilled dreams. On the other, the divine purpose you were born to claim. The question isn't whether you're ready. The question is whether you'll dare to step forward before this window closes forever. This isn't just another day, beloved. This is your final test, and God has already confirmed you're built to pass it. Picture a vast desert stretching endlessly before you, the sand burning beneath your feet, the horizon shimmering with promises you've chased for years. You've walked this wilderness, haven't you? Through seasons of rejection, nights of unanswered prayers, moments when you wondered if God had forgotten your name. You've carried burdens no one else could see, a heaviness in your heart, a longing for meaning, a fire in your spirit that refused to die even when the world tried to snuff it out. But today, chosen one, that desert ends. Before you stands a radiant door, its surface glowing with golden light. Your name carved in letters that pulse with divine energy. This door isn't locked. It's waiting for you to turn the handle. But here's the truth that will shake you to your core. This door only opens once, and its timer is counting down. Why does your heart race as you hear these words? Why do your hands tremble as you hold this device? Because deep within, your spirit recognizes this moment. Before you were formed in the womb, God knew you, says Jeremiah 1:5. He knew you'd be here, standing at this threshold, wrestling with the weight of your calling. Every tear you've cried, every door that slammed shut, every dream that seemed to die. It wasn't punishment. It was preparation. God wasn't breaking you, He was building you, forging you in the fire of trials to make you unbreakable. The enemy thought your struggles would destroy you, but God whispers, today, I've been shaping you for this exact moment. Your pain has been purposeful, your delays divine, your battles a training ground for the breakthrough that's already begun. This video unveils a unique truth. Your deepest doubts are not your downfall. They're the keys to your greatest spiritual awakening. Unlike other messages that focus on fear or forgiveness, today we're diving into the heart of doubt, that quiet voice that whispers you're not enough, not ready, not chosen. Doubt isn't your enemy, chosen one. It's the raw material God uses to craft your faith. Think about Thomas, the disciple who doubted Jesus' resurrection. He wasn't cast out. His doubt led to a divine encounter, his fingers touching the scars of the risen Christ in John 20:27. Your doubts, too, are leading you to a moment where God will reveal Himself so powerfully you'll never question your purpose again. But to pass this final test, you must face those doubts head-on and step through the door they guard. Let's talk about Sarah, a single mother from Charlotte, North Carolina. For years, she doubted her worth, her ability to provide for her 2 children after a painful divorce. She prayed for a breakthrough, but every job application seemed to vanish into silence. One night, scrolling through her phone, she felt a stirring, a voice urging her to apply for a managerial role she felt unqualified for. Doubt screamed, "You don't have the degree, you're too old at 42. But she applied anyway, her hands shaking as she hit submit. 2 weeks later, she got the job, a position that doubled her income and restored her confidence. Sarah's story isn't verified, but it's real to someone out there. Her doubt wasn't a disqualification. It was the doorway to her divine purpose. Your doubts, too, are part of God's plan, preparing you for a breakthrough that will leave you speechless. Now, imagine standing before that radiant door, the air around it crackling with divine anticipation. You've faced rejection, haven't you? Jobs you didn't get, relationships that crumbled, dreams that slipped through your fingers like sand. You've wondered why God seemed silent while others prospered. But hear this: every closed door was God's protection, not his rejection. Every no was redirecting you to this moment, this door, this final test. Psalm 23:4 says, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." That valley wasn't your grave, chosen one. It was your training ground, where God taught you to trust his voice above the world's noise. You weren't forgotten, you were forged. If this message is stirring your soul, consider supporting our mission through Super Thanks below. Your generosity helps us reach more chosen ones standing at their own doors, ready to step into their destiny. But whether you give or simply receive, know that your presence here is no accident. You're part of a remnant, a family of believers bound by divine purpose, and we're standing with you as you face this test. Let's talk about doubt's favorite lie: you're not enough. It's whispered in the quiet moments, when you compare yourself to others, when you scroll through social media and see lives that seem perfect. But God doesn't call the perfect. He perfects the called. Look at Moses, a man who doubted his ability to speak, yet led a nation out of slavery. Exodus 4:10 records his plea, "I am slow of speech and tongue." God's response: "Who gave human beings their mouths? Now go, I will help you speak." Your doubts about your qualifications, your past, your resources, they're not barriers. They're invitations for God to show up. When you're weak, his strength is perfected, says 2 Corinthians 12:9. Your final test isn't about proving your worth. It's about trusting God's. Now, let's get practical. To pass this final test and step through that radiant door, you need to take action. Here are 3 specific steps you can start today. Steps that balance spiritual faith with real-world application. First, write down one goal you've been delaying. Maybe it's starting a business, pursuing a degree, or writing that book burning in your heart. Take a piece of paper, write it in bold letters, and place it where you'll see it daily. This isn't just a task, it's a declaration to heaven that you're ready to move. Second, reach out to someone you need to reconnect with. Perhaps it's a parent you haven't spoken to in years, a friend you've drifted from, or a mentor who can guide you. Send a text, make a call, or write a letter today. That connection could be the key to your next breakthrough. Third, start one small project you've been postponing. If you dream of a ministry, register a domain name. If you want to get healthy, take a 10-minute walk. These steps aren't overwhelming, but they're powerful. They signal to God and the universe that you're serious about your destiny. If you're feeling the weight of this moment, type, "I am passing my final test" in the comments below. Your declaration isn't just words. It's a spiritual seal, a commitment to step through that door. Pray for the person who commented before you, because you're not alone in this journey. Together, we're a holy remnant rising to meet God's call. Let's talk about someone else, like James, a 28-year-old from Seattle who doubted his purpose. He worked a dead-end job, feeling like his dreams of becoming a music teacher were foolish. One evening, a sermon online challenged him to face his doubts by taking a risk. He posted a video of himself teaching a song on YouTube, his voice cracking with nerves. Doubt told him, no one will watch. But within months, his channel grew, and a local community center hired him to teach kids. James's doubt wasn't verified, but it's real to someone out there. His small step through doubt led to a purpose that lit up lives. Your doubts, too, are the raw material for miracles, waiting for you to act. Now, visualize that scroll unfurling in heaven's throne room, your name written in golden ink, every detail of your destiny penned by the Creator. Revelation 20:12 speaks of books being opened, where every life's purpose is recorded. Your scroll isn't blank, chosen one. It's filled with promises of breakthrough, healing, and impact. But doubt makes you think the scroll is for someone else, someone more qualified. That's a lie. God chose you, not because of your resume, but because of your heart. He saw your faithfulness in the wilderness, your tears in the dark, your refusal to give up. This final test is about believing that scroll exists for you and stepping forward to claim it. What if your greatest doubt isn't about God's power, but about your own courage? What if the enemy's loudest lie is that you'll fail if you try? Gideon doubted his strength, hiding in a winepress when God called him a mighty hero in Judges 6:12. Yet he led an army to victory with just 300 men. Your doubts aren't disqualifiers. They're the fuel for God's miracles. When you doubt your ability, you're giving God the chance to show His ability. Every time you've felt like giving up, but didn't, you were passing a test. Every time you prayed through tears, you were winning a battle. Today's test is no different. It's your chance to prove that doubt doesn't own you. Let's reflect on why this moment feels so urgent. The world is shifting, isn't it? You see it in the chaos around you. Economic struggles, broken families, a hunger for truth. You're not here by accident, chosen one. You're here to be a light in this darkness, a voice of hope, a vessel for God's plan. Your doubts aren't random. They're the enemy's last attempt to keep you from that role. But God has confirmed, you're stronger than you know. Isaiah 61 says, "Arise, shine, for your light has come." That light isn't for tomorrow, it's for today, burning through your doubts, illuminating the path through that radiant door. Now, let's address the fear that comes with doubt. You're scared of failing, aren't you? Scared of stepping out and falling flat, of hearing God wrong, of losing what little you have. But fear is just doubt's shadow, and faith is the light that casts it out. Jesus said in Matthew 14:31 to Peter sinking in the waves, "Why did you doubt?" Peter's doubt didn't disqualify him. It led to Jesus' hand reaching out. Your doubts are leading to God's hand, ready to pull you into your destiny. Those 3 steps, writing your goal, reaching out, starting a project, they're your act of faith, your way of saying, "I trust you, God, despite my fear." Don't wait for the fear to vanish. Step through it. Imagine this. You're standing on a cliff overlooking a chasm, the wind howling, the other side shrouded in mist. That radiant door hovers in the air, just beyond your reach. Doubt tells you the gap is too wide, the fall too deadly, but faith whispers, "Step anyway." Hebrews 11:1 calls faith the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. Your faith doesn't need to see the bridge, it builds it with every step. Those doubts you're carrying, they're the stones God uses to pave your path. Every time you've doubted and still moved forward, you've laid another stone. Today, you're laying the final ones to reach that door. If you're ready to silence doubt and claim your destiny, type "I am claiming my divine purpose" in the comments. Your words are a spiritual contract, a vow to heaven that you're stepping through. Lift up the person who commented before you in prayer, because we're a family, bound by God's call, standing together at this threshold. Let's talk about legacy. Your final test isn't just about you, it's about the generations you'll impact. Think about Esther, who doubted her influence but saved a nation by stepping forward in Esther 4:14. Your step through this door could break curses in your family, heal wounds in your community, inspire strangers you'll never meet. That goal you wrote down, it's not just a task. It's a seed for a legacy. That person you reached out to, they might carry your story to others. That project you started, it could outlive you, touching lives for decades. Your doubts are small compared to the ripple effect of your obedience. Now, picture that scroll again, unfurling in heaven's courts, angels leaning in as your name is read aloud. Every doubt you've faced, every trial you've endured, it's written there, not as failures, but as victories. God isn't judging your doubts. He's celebrating your resilience. John 16:33 says, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." Your doubts are part of that trouble, but your faith is part of His victory. This final test is your chance to prove it, to step through that radiant door and claim the life God confirmed for you before time began. If this message is igniting your faith, consider supporting us through Super Thanks below. Your generosity fuels this ministry, helping us reach chosen ones who are still wandering in their wilderness. But whether you give or not, your heart is here, and that's what matters. You're part of God's remnant, and we're cheering you on. Let's face one last truth. Doubt will always whisper, but you don't have to listen. Every hero in the Bible doubted. Moses, Gideon, Thomas, Peter, but they moved anyway. Your final test isn't about erasing doubt, it's about acting despite it. Those 3 steps, writing a goal, reaching out, starting a project, they're your movement, your defiance of doubt, your proof that God's confirmation is stronger than your hesitation. You're not alone in this, chosen one. Heaven is watching, angels are positioned, and a cloud of witnesses is cheering you on, as Hebrews 12:1 declares. Your final test begins today, and God has confirmed you're ready to pass it. Imagine standing in a vast cathedral, its stained glass windows glowing with colors no earthly artist could capture, each pane telling the story of your life. Not the failures, but the triumphs God saw before you took your first breath. The air hums with a melody only your spirit recognizes, a song written for this moment, this final test. You've faced doubts that felt like mountains, chosen one. But here you are, still standing, still believing, still burning with a purpose that refuses to fade. That radiant door before you, its golden light pulsing like a heartbeat, isn't just an invitation, it's a divine summons. A call to step into the authority God confirmed for you long ago. Your doubts haven't disqualified you, they've refined you, like gold in a furnace, for a destiny that will echo through eternity. Let's dive deeper into what this final test truly means. It's not about perfection, nor is it about silencing every doubt that whispers in your mind. It's about recognizing that your faith, even when it feels fragile, is a weapon forged in heaven's armory. Ephesians 6:16 calls it the shield of faith, able to extinguish every fiery dart the enemy throws. Those darts, doubts about your worth, your calling, your future, they've been relentless, haven't they? But they haven't destroyed you. Each time you chose to believe despite the pain, you strengthened that shield. This final test is your chance to wield it boldly, to step through that radiant door, knowing that God's confirmation is your armor, unyielding and unbreakable. Consider Rachel, a 35-year-old teacher from Denver, Colorado, who doubted her ability to make a difference. She taught in a struggling school where students faced poverty and broken homes. Rachel prayed for impact, but felt her efforts were drops in an ocean. One day, a student's note, scribbled on crumpled paper, changed everything. You believed in me when no one else did. That note sparked a fire. Rachel started an after-school program, pouring her heart into mentoring kids. Today, her program has helped dozens graduate, some the first in their families. Rachel's story isn't verified, but it resonates with someone out there. Her doubt didn't stop her. It led her to a legacy of transformation. Your doubts, too, are pathways to impact if you dare to step forward. Now, visualize that radiant door again, its light casting shadows of your past struggles across the cathedral floor. Those shadows, rejections, losses, moments of despair, aren't chains holding you back. They're part of the mosaic God is crafting, a masterpiece that tells the world of his faithfulness. Romans 8:28 declares, "All things work together for good to those who love God, who are called according to his purpose." Your doubts, your trials, your sleepless nights, they're all threads in this tapestry, woven by a divine hand. This final test asks you to trust the artist, to believe that every shadow serves the light, that every doubt prepares you for the breakthrough awaiting on the other side. Let's talk about the enemy's strategy. Doubt is his favorite tool, not because it's powerful, but because it's subtle. It doesn't shout, it whispers, planting seeds of hesitation that grow into forests of fear. You're too broken, it says. You fail too often. But God's voice thunders over those lies. Isaiah 43:1 proclaims, "Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine." You're not defined by your doubts, chosen one. You're defined by the one who named you before the stars were hung. This final test is about choosing which voice to follow, the enemy's whisper or God's roar. Every time you've pushed through doubt, you've chosen God. And today is no different. Picture a river, its waters rushing toward a distant sea, carving through stone with relentless force. Your faith is that river, shaped by years of trials, cutting through the doubts that once seemed immovable. Those 3 steps you've taken, writing your goal, reaching out to someone, starting a project, they're the current of that river, moving you closer to your divine purpose. You don't need new steps now, but courage to keep the flow unbroken. Doubt wants to dam that river, to stall your progress with questions like, what if it doesn't work? But faith says, what if it does? This final test is about letting your faith flow, trusting that God's confirmation will carry you to shores you can't yet see. If you're ready to let faith triumph over doubt, type "I trust God's confirmation" in the comments below. Your words are a battle cry, a declaration that you're stepping through that radiant door. Pray for the person who commented before you, lifting them up as part of this holy remnant united in purpose and power. Let's explore the stakes of this moment. Your final test isn't just about personal victory. It's about the lives you're destined to touch. Think of Nehemiah, who doubted his ability to rebuild Jerusalem's walls, yet led a movement that restored a nation's hope in Nehemiah 2:17. Your steps through that door could rebuild broken relationships, inspire struggling communities, or spark revival in places you've never been. That goal you wrote, it might employ someone desperate for work. That person you reached out to, they might carry your kindness to others. That project you started, it could outlast you, a beacon for generations. Your doubts are small compared to the eternal impact of your obedience. Now, imagine that cathedral again, its ceiling soaring into infinity, angels circling above, their wings stirring the air with anticipation. They're not watching to judge you, chosen one. They're cheering, holding scrolls that record every moment you overcame doubt. Hebrews 12:1 speaks of a great cloud of witnesses surrounding us, urging us to run our race. Your race isn't against others, it's against the doubts that try to slow you. Every time you've chosen faith over fear, you've gained ground. This final test is the last lap, the moment to sprint through that radiant door, knowing God's confirmation is your finish line. What if your greatest doubt isn't about failing, but about succeeding? What if the enemy's deepest lie is that you're not ready for the life God has prepared? Success can be scarier than failure because it demands you step into authority, into visibility, into impact. But God didn't choose you to play small. Matthew 5:14 says, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden." Your doubts about success are the enemy's last defense, trying to keep you from shining. This final test is about embracing your light, stepping through that door, and letting God's glory radiate through you. If this message is stirring your soul, consider supporting us through Super Thank You. Your gift helps us reach chosen ones still wrestling with doubt, ready to step into their divine awakening. But whether you give or not, your heart is here, and that enough to shake the spiritual realm. Let's close this segment with a vision of what's possible. Picture yourself on the other side of that radiant door, standing in a field of endless green, the air sweet with the scent of new beginnings. You're not alone. Around you are faces, some familiar, some strangers, all touched by your obedience. The goal you wrote has grown into a movement. The person you reached out to has found healing. The project you started is changing lives. Your doubts? They're distant memories, proof of how far you've come. This final test isn't the end. It's the beginning of a life where God's confirmation becomes your reality, every single day. That vision of you standing in a field of endless green, surrounded by lives transformed by your courage, isn't a distant dream, chosen one. It's the reality God has confirmed, waiting just beyond that radiant door. The scent of new beginnings lingers in the air, a promise that your final test isn't a barrier, but a bridge to a life of purpose and impact. You've carried doubts like heavy stones, but now it's time to see them for what they are. Stepping stones laid by God Himself to lead you to this moment. Your heart may still tremble, your mind may still question, but your spirit knows the truth. This is your divine awakening, and the Creator of the universe has staked His name on your victory. Let's peel back another layer of this final test. It's not just about overcoming doubt. It's about embracing the identity God has spoken over you. For too long, the world has tried to name you failure, unworthy, invisible. Those labels stuck like shadows, following you through every rejection, every closed door. But God's voice cuts through the noise, clear and unshakable. In Isaiah 62:2, He promises, "You shall be called by a new name that the mouth of the Lord will give." That new name isn't written in the ink of your past mistakes or the world's judgments. It's etched in the eternal light of heaven, a name that declares you are chosen, redeemed, and destined for greatness. This final test asks you to shed the old names and step into the identity God has confirmed. Think of Jacob, wrestling with an angel under a starlit sky, his hip wrenched, his strength fading. He'd lived as a deceiver, a name that haunted him through years of strife. But in Genesis 32:28, God renamed him Israel, meaning one who prevails with God. That night, Jacob's doubt in himself met God's certainty in him, and a new identity was born. Your final test is your wrestling match, chosen one, not against God, but against the lies that have defined you. Every doubt you face is a chance to claim your new name: beloved overcomer, light bearer. The radiant door before you opens not to who you were, but to who God says you are. Now, let's meet Daniel, a 50-year-old carpenter from Boise, Idaho. He doubted his value after losing his business during a recession. For years, he saw himself as a failure, his tools gathering dust in a garage. One Sunday, a stranger at church invited him to help build homes for a local charity. Doubt whispered, "You're too old to start over." But Daniel went, hammer in hand, heart pounding. That first house he helped build sheltered a family of 5, and soon he was leading teams, his skills sparking hope in others. Daniel's story isn't verified, but it's real to someone out there. His doubt didn't erase his purpose, it led him to a new identity as a builder of lives. Your doubts, too, are invitations to step into the name God has for you. Picture that radiant door again, its golden surface reflecting not your fears, but the glory God sees in you. The cathedral around it hums with divine energy, as if creation itself is holding its breath. This door doesn't lead to a life of ease, but to one of eternal significance. Your final test is about trusting that the identity waiting on the other side is worth every doubt you've battled. 9 calls you a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession. That's not a title for someone else, it's yours, confirmed by the one who spoke galaxies into existence. Your doubts are the final hurdles before you wear that crown. Let's talk about the weight of this moment. You've felt it, haven't you? That sense that time is slipping, that the world is waiting for you to act. It's not just pressure, it's providence. God has aligned this moment with his eternal clock, where every second pulses with possibility. Your doubts aren't random. They're the enemy's attempt to stall you, to keep you from crossing this threshold. But God's confirmation is louder, stronger, eternal. In Joshua 1:9, he commands, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." Your final test is about walking in that strength, knowing your new identity is your shield against every lie. Those 3 steps you've taken, writing your goal, reaching out to someone, starting a project, are more than tasks. They're declarations of your new name, proof that you're no longer bound by doubt's old labels. You don't need more steps now, but faith to see them through. Doubt will try to rename you, whispering that your goal is too big, your outreach too risky, your project too small. But faith says, "My name is written in heaven's scroll." Every time you act, you're engraving that name deeper, aligning with the identity God has confirmed. Your final test is about living as that person, even when doubt tries to pull you back. If you're ready to embrace your God-given identity, type "My new name is written in heaven" in the comments below. Your declaration is a spiritual marker, a vow that you're stepping into this new identity. Pray for the person who commented before you, because you're part of a holy family, bound by purpose, cheering each other through this sacred moment. Let's dive into the legacy of your identity. Your final test isn't just about you, it's about the generations your new name will carry. Think of Abraham, renamed by God in Genesis 17:5 as "Father of many nations." His doubt wavered, but his faith claimed a legacy that still shapes the world. Your steps through that radiant door are naming not just you, but those who will follow. The goal you wrote could fund a child's education. The person you reached out to might heal a family's wound. The project you started could inspire a movement. Your doubts are the last barrier to a legacy that outlives your earthly days, and God's confirmation is its foundation. Now visualize that cathedral's stained glass windows, each one glowing with a scene from your future. Not the one doubt predicts, but the one God ordains. One window shows you speaking truth to a crowd, your voice steady. Another shows a child you mentored, their life transformed. A third shows a community thriving because you dared to believe. These aren't fantasies, they're prophecies. Glimpses of the life waiting beyond that radiant door. Your final test is about trusting God's vision over your doubts, knowing that the identity He's given you is the key to those futures. Psalm 139:16 says, "Your eyes saw my unformed substance. All the days ordained for me were written in your book." Your new name is in that book, Chosen One, and this moment is its unveiling. What if your deepest doubt isn't about your identity, but about your influence? What if the enemy's lie is that your life won't matter, that your steps won't ripple? Esther doubted her influence, a Jewish orphan in a Persian palace, yet her courage saved a nation in Esther 4:14. Your final test is about believing your new name carries weight, that your actions will shift atmospheres, heal hearts, break chains. Those 3 steps you've taken, they're already rippling, touching lives you can't see. Doubt wants you to shrink. God wants you to shine. This test is your chance to step into the influence God has confirmed for you. If this message is fueling your faith, consider supporting us through Super Thanks. Your gift helps us spread this divine call to chosen ones still searching for their identity, ready for their breakthrough. Your heart is here, and that's enough to move mountains. Let's reflect on the power of your new name. It's not just a title, it's a spiritual frequency, a vibration that aligns you with heaven's purposes. Every time you act in faith, you're broadcasting that frequency, disrupting the enemy's plans, drawing others to God's light. Your doubts are static, trying to drown it out, but God's confirmation is the signal that prevails. In Revelation 2:17, Jesus promises to the one who conquers, "I will give a white stone with a new name written on it." That stone is yours, chosen one, waiting beyond that radiant door. Your final test is about claiming it, stepping into a life where doubt no longer names you, but God does. That white stone with your new name, glowing in the palm of Jesus' hand, isn't a distant reward, chosen one. It's a present reality, a divine credential confirming your place in God's eternal story. The radiant door before you, its golden light pulsing like a living heartbeat, stands as the threshold to a life where that name becomes your truth. You've wrestled with doubts, carried labels the world tried to pin on you, but here, in this sacred moment, God's voice drowns out every lie. Your final test isn't about erasing your past. It's about stepping into a future where your identity in Christ reshapes everything. The cathedral's stained glass windows glow brighter now, each pane reflecting not just your potential, but the undeniable power of God's confirmation over your life. Let's explore the courage this final test demands. Doubt thrives in the shadows of hesitation, whispering that it's safer to stay small, to cling to the familiar. But courage isn't the absence of doubt, it's the decision to move forward despite it. In 2 Timothy 1:7, Paul declares, "God gave us a spirit not of fear but of power and love and self-control." That spirit is alive in you, chosen one, a fire kindled by every trial you've endured. Your final test is about fanning that flame, letting it burn through the fog of doubt to reveal the path God has confirmed. Courage doesn't mean you feel ready. It means you trust the one who called you, even when your knees tremble at the door's edge. Consider Maria, a 45-year-old nurse from Houston, Texas. She doubted her courage to leave a toxic workplace, fearing financial ruin and judgment. For years she stayed, her spirit dimming under stress. One night, praying in her car, she felt a stirring, a voice urging her to apply for a job at a community clinic. Doubt screamed, "You'll fail. You're not brave enough." But Maria applied, her heart racing as she sent her resume. Within weeks, she was hired, her new role not only paying better but allowing her to serve families in need. Maria's story isn't verified, but it's real to someone out there. Her courage, born in the face of doubt, unlocked a purpose that lit up lives. Your courage, too, is the key to your divine awakening. Now, picture that radiant door again, its light casting a warm glow across the cathedral's stone floor, where every crack tells a story of your resilience. Those cracks, moments of doubt, rejection, despair, aren't flaws. They are evidence of a life forged for greatness. Your final test is about seeing those cracks as holy, as part of the foundation God has built for your breakthrough. In Psalm 34:18 we read, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit." Your broken moments weren't abandonment. They were divine appointments, where God drew near to shape you for this door. Courage is trusting that nearness, stepping forward knowing He's with you. Let's talk about the resistance you're feeling. Doubt isn't just a thought. It's a spiritual force, a tactic the enemy uses to keep you from your confirmed destiny. Ephesians 6:12 reminds us, "We do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness." Every doubt you face is a dart aimed at your courage, trying to pin you to the ground. But God's confirmation is your shield, His promise your sword. Your final test is about standing firm in that armor, refusing to let doubt steal the authority God has given you. Those 3 steps, writing your goal, reaching out, starting a project, are your battle cries, proof that you're fighting, not fleeing. Imagine a battlefield at dawn, the mist heavy, the air charged with tension. You stand, sword in hand, facing a shadowy army of doubts. You're too late. You're too broken. You'll never succeed. But as the sun rises, you see another army behind you. Angels, their wings gleaming, their voices chanting your new name. Hebrews 1:14 calls them ministering spirits sent out to serve those who are to inherit salvation. They're here for you, chosen one, dispatched to bolster your courage. Your final test is about trusting their presence, knowing that every step through that radiant door is backed by heaven's forces. Doubt may roar, but God's confirmation thunders louder. If you're ready to summon your courage and claim your destiny, type "I am bold in God's strength" in the comments below. Your words are a spiritual banner, declaring your refusal to bow to doubt. Pray for the person who commented before you, lifting them as part of this holy remnant, united in courage and purpose. Let's dive into the vision God has for you. Your final test isn't about proving yourself. It's about aligning with the dream God planted in your heart before time began. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." That future isn't vague, chosen one. It's specific, vivid, written in heaven's scroll with your name in golden ink. Doubt blurs that vision, making you think it's for someone else. But courage sharpens it, revealing a life of influence, healing, and legacy. Your final test is about holding that vision, stepping through the door with eyes fixed on God's promise. Those 3 steps you've taken, your goal, your outreach, your project, are the first brushstrokes of that vision, painting a future where doubt no longer holds the brush. Doubt wants you to see a blank canvas, a life of limits, but courage sees a masterpiece, a story of redemption and impact. Think of David, a shepherd boy doubted by his brothers, yet anointed king in 1 Samuel 16:7. His courage to face Goliath wasn't blind, It was rooted in God's confirmation. Your courage, too, is rooted in that same divine assurance, propelling you through that radiant door to a life that changes everything. Now, visualize a mountain peak, the wind whipping around you, the world spread out below like a tapestry of possibility. That radiant door hovers at the summit, its light cutting through the clouds. Doubt tells you the climb is too steep, the air too thin. But courage says, God has carried you this far. Every doubt you faced was a foothold, every trial a step higher. Your final test is about reaching that peak, not because you're fearless, but because you trust the one who called you to climb. Philippians 4:13 declares, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Your courage is his strength, and this door is your summit. If this message is fueling your resolve, consider supporting us through Super Thanks. Your gift helps us spread this divine summons to chosen ones ready to climb their own mountains, embracing their confirmed destiny. Your heart is here, and that's enough to shift the spiritual tides. Let's reflect on the community waiting for your courage. Your final test isn't solitary, it's a spark for others. Your step through that radiant door could ignite faith in your family, your friends, your city. Think of the woman who anointed Jesus in Mark 14:3, doubted by the crowd but praised by Christ. Her courage to break her alabaster jar inspired a legacy of worship. Your courage, those steps you've taken, could break jars of despair, pouring out hope. Doubt isolates you. Courage connects you to a purpose that lifts others. Your final test is about stepping into that role, knowing your new name resonates in lives beyond your own. Picture the cathedral's windows now, their light dancing across your face, each color a promise of what's possible. One window shows you mentoring a struggling teen, another leading a project that feeds thousands, a third showing your family restored. These aren't dreams, they're destinies, confirmed by God's word. Your final test is about believing they're yours, letting courage carry you through that door where doubt no longer dims the light. You're not just passing a test, chosen one. You're becoming a testament, a living proof of God's faithfulness. The radiant door before you shimmers with a light that feels alive, chosen one, as if it's breathing in rhythm with your soul. The cathedral's windows cast prisms of color across the stone floor, each hue a whisper of the legacy you're destined to leave. You've climbed the mountain of doubt, faced the shadows of fear, and claimed the courage God confirmed within you. This final test isn't about reaching perfection. It's about embracing the divine purpose written in heaven's scroll, a purpose that's calling you to step through that door and into a life where your new name shines. John 15:16 declares, You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit. Your fruit, your impact, your legacy waits on the other side. And this moment is your divine appointment to claim it. Let's talk about the eternal weight of your choice. Doubt has tried to anchor you to the past, but God's confirmation lifts you into a future where every step ripples through time. Your final test is about trusting that your obedience today will echo in lives you may never meet. Imagine a single pebble dropped into a still lake, its ripples spreading far beyond the point of impact. Those 3 steps, writing your goal, reaching out, starting a project, are your pebbles, already sending waves of change. Doubt says they're small. Courage says they're seismic. In Galatians 6:9, Paul urges, Let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. Your final test is your season to reap, chosen one, if you step through now. If you're feeling the fire of this moment, type, I am bearing eternal fruit in the comments below. Your declaration seals your commitment, a vow to heaven that you're crossing this threshold. Pray for the person who commented before you, because you're part of a holy remnant, woven together by God's call, lifting each other into destiny. Consider Elizabeth, a 60-year-old retiree from Savannah, Georgia. She doubted her relevance after leaving her teaching career, feeling her best days were behind her. One evening, a neighbor asked her to tutor her struggling grandson. Doubt whispered, "You're too old to matter." But Elizabeth said yes, her voice trembling with courage. That one boy's grades soared, and soon Elizabeth was tutoring a dozen kids, her home a haven of hope. Her story isn't verified, but it's real to someone out there. Her courage didn't just change lives, it redefined her purpose. Your courage too is redefining you, chosen one, as you step through that radiant door. Now, visualize the other side of that door, a realm where the air sparkles with possibility, where every doubt you've faced becomes a jewel in your crown. Revelation 3:8 says, "I have set before you an open door which no one is able to shut." That door stands open now, its light beckoning you to a life of abundance, healing, and influence. Your final test is about trusting that God's confirmation is stronger than any doubt, that His promise is your foundation. Those steps you've taken aren't the end. They're the beginning, seeds planted in faith that will grow into a harvest beyond your imagination. Your courage is the water, your obedience the sun, and God's hand the miracle that brings it to life. As we stand at this sacred threshold, let's pray together, sealing this moment with heaven's authority. Place your hand over your heart, feel its beat, and know it's synced with God's rhythm. Heavenly Father, we come before you not in our strength, but in the power of Jesus' name. We thank you for every chosen one hearing this, for every heart stirred, every doubt shattered. Right now we break the chains of hesitation, the lies of unworthiness, the shadows of fear. We declare that every goal written, every outreach made, every project started is a seed for your kingdom. Pour out your Spirit, Lord, like rain on dry ground, bringing forth a harvest of breakthrough, healing, and legacy. Grant courage like David's, faith like Esther's, vision like Nehemiah's. Let this final test be their triumph, their new name a light to nations. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Chosen one, this is your moment. Heaven saw you click this video, heard your silent yes, and honors your courage. Type, "I am bearing eternal fruit" again in the comments, and pray for another soul in this community. Share this video now, not tomorrow now, because someone in your circle is standing at their own door, needing this spark. Hit like to join thousands of chosen souls shining for God's glory, and subscribe to stay connected to your divine purpose. Thank you for your open heart, your bold spirit, and your trust in God's confirmation. Your greatest chapter begins now, chosen one. Step through that door and let your legacy shine forever.